Well, guess what, my friend? We will all die. We will all be in a lot of pain. It's all coming our way. It's inevitable. It's part of life. But in the meantime, you might as well be a fucking savage and live your life the way you want to live. And you might as well put your best effort and your best foot forward and train like a motherfucker. I lost my cap, so I don't think I can rap, but I still got this gap, and hopefully there's an app for that. This is Mark Bell from Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West, answering more questions today for the Power Project, brought to you by HowMuchYouBench.net, the Slingshot, and the only freaking strength magazine in the world, thepowermagazine.com. We've got two questions for today. The question number one is about, is a little bit of a funny question in some way, because the number the person picked is so astronomical, but it brings up a lot of good points. The question is about, if somebody thought that the world record was currently in the 2,000 pound range for a deadlift, would that allow somebody to break the world record of 1,025 easier? And as astronomical and as crazy as that sounds, I think that when you think that there's no limitations, you don't really know what's possible. I'll give you a bunch of examples. Example number one is called the Jesse Norris theory. Jesse Norris has had multiple concussions. He's been in a motorcycle accident. He's had concussions, very serious concussions, very serious brain injuries from years of playing football as well. And to me, what makes that kid so strong and what makes that kid so special is that he is not looking at things the way the rest of us are. He's almost a little bit numb to the weights that are on the bar. When he sees 7 plates on the bar, he's thinking it ain't no thing, because he simply doesn't know better. It's not because he's dumb. It's simply because he doesn't believe that there's any limitations on him. And he trained by himself for many years before he even thought about powerlifting. He did have a coach who was teaching him the way, but he didn't really realize that 500 pounds for 5 reps at 16 years old on a deadlift was anything to be proud of. And he didn't really know how that measured up to anybody else. Then he started doing 600 pound deadlifts routinely, 700 pound deadlifts, and he started doing powerlifting meets. A lot of people start powerlifting meets much earlier because they may powerlift in high school and they hear about, how a 500 pound deadlift is good, and so they go and they try to compete against other people. Jesse Norris was only trying to compete against himself. He didn't really think about those limitations. And before you know it, the kid's deadlifting over 800 pounds at 198 pounds. More examples are more recently in the squat. The squat has gone back and forth so many times, I forget who has the record right now. Andrei Milanichev started to break it. Eric Lillibridge broke it. And it's gone back and forth between many people. Zahir also broke the record. And now it's like 1,047 or 1,045. It just keeps going back and forth, but without somebody breaking it originally, it probably would have never been broken in the first place. It'd probably still be sitting there. I've seen that happen also with the 275 pound world record. Stan Efferding came in and broke the 275 record. It was a record that stood since the 70s. And then all of a sudden, Eric Lillibridge comes out of nowhere and crushes, just absolutely crushes, sorry Stan, crushes the records that Stan Efferding laid down, and nobody thought that what Stan did was even possible. And then this young kid, Eric Lillibridge, at 23 years old or so, what Stan did was amazing too, because he did it at like 44 years old, 43 years old. Well, this young kid comes in on fire and almost doesn't know any better and comes in and fucks everybody up. You also got other examples in other sports. 100 meters would be an example. 100-meter dash, that record gets broken quite a bit. You got the 4-minute mile. For years, people never thought that was possible, and now it's routine for people to break that all the time. Michael Phelps breaking world records. The guys behind him break previous world records also, because they're trying to chase him. They're trying to chase the great one, and they just so happen to beat a world record as well. So that's it for that question. We got another question. The other question is about, we've got 2 more questions actually. We have a bonus question at the end. The next question's about doing a powerlifting meet. And the guy said, what should he do in his first powerlifting meet? And it's my belief that when you do your first powerlifting competition, that you want to try to make a lot of lifts. Some people will go to the extreme and say, don't compete. Don't even worry about competing. Don't worry about being competitive. To me, that's kind of bullshit. If you have other people in your weight class that you can jockey for position against, and if you can beat them, if you can come in second rather than fifth, which is better, coming in second or coming in fifth? You really want to try to decide, just like anything else in your life, what is going to make you happy. And you also need to convey that to whoever's helping you at the contest. By the way, don't ever go to a contest without a handler or coach, friend, girlfriend, brother, sister, somebody to help you manage the numbers in the contest. Even if it's somebody that's not that knowledgeable, bring them up to speed on your goals and what you want to do, almost as like a dying wish. Tell them exactly what it is that you want to do, and do not let them allow you to bail out of what you said originally. You want to make a lot of lifts, so I would say the first attempt in a powerlifting meet should be something that you can do for 3 repetitions with no breakdown in form. I'll say it again, something that you can do for 3 repetitions with no breakdown in form. CrossFitters use the term unbroken, something you can do for 3 reps unbroken. That's the old school way of powerlifting. That's the way I was brought into the sport. That's the way the guy behind the camera was brought into the sport. That's the way we always did things, and we were always extremely, extremely successful. We always made a lot of lifts. We always were set up to break at least some state records, and it was always a lot of fucking fun. When you kick ass and when you do your best, that's when it becomes the most fun. So your second attempt is something you can do for 2 reps, and then your third attempt, you now earn the right to sort of go for whatever it is you want. Whatever that monkey is that's on your back that you want to get rid of, or whatever that next 100-pound lift is, 600-pound deadlift, 400-pound bench press, 500-pound squat, whatever those numbers are, that's when you get a chance to really go for it. But never lose sight of the fact that powerlifting is always about your total. You don't always have to lift like a madman in all 3 lifts to get a great total. You can progress over a period of time. You can not even have a PR in a particular lift in any 3 of the lifts and still end up with a PR total. Do the math, it works out. As long as you're close to some of those numbers, it's what you can do for the day, and it's what you can do for your total. So keep that in mind as well. Don't go from a 450 squat up to 500 just because you're excited about 500. Make sure that you kind of stay more in the 470-pound range, so you pad your total, pad your stats, just like you do when you're playing Madden football, when you're playing video games, right? You got to pad your stats. Last question is, somebody asked a question, how did I get so good talking in front of the camera? Thank you for the compliment. I don't think I'm that good in front of the camera. I'm better than most of the fitness jerks out there, but in terms of overall growth and where I'm at with being able to speak and being able to communicate with people, I look at the big fish and I look at the big dogs. I look at the John Cena's of the world, The Rock. I look at Matt Lauer. I look at people that do it for a living, and in my opinion, I am nowhere near their capabilities. But I do. Where were you when you started? Tell them that. I do try my best. I always try to improve. Improvement is the key. So just to give you a little history, if we rewind a little bit, bring it back a little bit, when I was in school, high school pretty much, or even before that, whenever they started making you do public speaking type things in school, I fucking hated it. I couldn't even do it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I was a bundle of nerves. I was sweating. I was trying to figure out ways to get out of it. I would pretend I was sick from school to get out of it. I would do anything and everything I could. How's my eyebrow cleavage, by the way? Is it bad today? Because the sun's like really kicking. Sweet. I can kind of stretch it out a little bit. There we go. Anyway, yeah, I was really uncomfortable with it. But do you want to know why I was uncomfortable with it? Anybody? Anybody care? Anybody still watching? I was uncomfortable with it because I didn't practice it. It wasn't something that I did. What was I comfortable doing? I was comfortable grabbing onto a barbell and going like this, even from the age of 15 or 16, because I started at 14. And I did it every day, repeatedly, over and over and over again. If you want to be good at this, nowadays you have your phone. You can film stuff. You can not share it with everybody. Film yourself. Don't share it with anybody. Film yourself talking loudly. Film yourself talking softly. Film yourself talking slowly, talking calmly. You want to try to have different pitches at different times. I learned a lot from pro wrestling. I went and got into pro wrestling, and I was way too shy for pro wrestling. I don't even know what made me get into it, other than my brothers were way into it, and I loved it as a kid. And it was something I always thought was really cool, but I wasn't super passionate about it. But if I was going to do anything in pro wrestling, I knew that I'd have to be able to cut a promo. And you might want to try to have yourself do some drills like that. I would get drilled weekly, even some cases when I went to Louisville, Kentucky, daily. They'd say, okay, Smelly, you're wrestling the boar. February 29th in the park, Davis, California, give us a promo. And I'd have to say, you know, the boar, he's been on fire lately. He's been on a tear. His ring work ethic has been insane. He has went through every single opponent that he has faced. Even though he is short, even though he is fat, he is smart. And the guy's got skills. And do you think I'm afraid? You bet your ass I'm afraid, because he's been running through everybody. But he's not going to run through Smelly, because I'm going to bring the pain and I'm going to leave a stain. I'm Smelly and I'm sticking to it. Something like that. I missed all the dates. See, I fucked it all up because I'm out of practice for that. Normally you would throw in the dates. February 29th here in Davis, California, in this very park. I'm going to whoop my own brother's ass from that tree to that blacked out awesome fucking Escalade. Anyway, it takes practice. You got the Allen Iverson old school video that they play all the time where he's talking about practice. Come on, man, we talking about practice. I don't want to practice. We talking about practice, not the game. We talking about practice. It's my favorite fucking speech ever. But you got to practice if you want to be good at something. It's something you're going to have to work on. Talking in front of a camera is a lot easier than talking in front of people. So if you're scared of a camera, odds are it's going to be very difficult to talk in front of people. So start with a camera, maybe even just start with a mirror, talk in front of the mirror. Practice, you know, if this is something that you want to be good at, this is a trade that you want to be good at, try answering questions, whatever it is that you want to get into. Journalism, you want to get into, you know, being a weatherman, you want to get into, you know, answering fitness questions or something like that. Something you're going to have to work on. Just record them on your phone. You don't have to share them with anybody. Just share them with yourself. Share them with a friend, and they'll be like, dude, that was fucking horrible. You can say, I know, I'm just getting started. Hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks it'll be a little bit better. But I've been doing this since about 2004 or so with the wrestling and stuff. And I've had the channel since 2006, and now we're in fucking 2016. 10 years of super training, by the way. 10 fucking years. And you guys won't believe what we have in store to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of super training. It's going to be, well, anyway, I'll save it for some other time. Strength is never a weakness, and that is it from Super Training Gym.